Hey, what's happening, everybody? How are you? So I is it blah, 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 blah. Hey, what's happening, everybody? So it's been raining all day, and I've been hanging out in the van, and it's been great. I am so glad that I rebuilt this thing the way it is. It's so cozy to hang out in here, especially with the big screen TV. I've just been chilling out, watching YouTube videos, playing Clash of Clans, and trying to come up with what video I'm going to make today. So I've gotten a ton of requests for listing all the things that I've done to the van. Now this is all like to the body and the engine. This is not the living area. That's totally a separate video. But I'm gonna do that right now. So let's get started. Number one is shocks and tires. And for the back shocks, I did heavy duty. I did a Monroe. And for the tires, I wanted like truck tires that were kind of pretty good off road. Obviously not good enough, but they're still good on the highway, so I can't complain. And then for the fuel system, I did fuel pump, which goes out on these things a lot. And I got the upgraded version, the fuel injection spider, which was kind of spendy and didn't solve my. Keep in mind, this whole time, almost all the engine stuff is trying to get rid of this P0300 random misfire code. So fuel injection spider, that actually helped with miles per gallon quite a bit. And the fuel filter like twice, and I think that's it for the fuel system. But those are the three main things. And cap rotor plugs and wires multiple times, but also I just upgraded the gear that goes at the bottom of the distributor, which was pretty worn, and I think that helped a little bit. It seems to be running a lot smoother now. All the sensors except for the mass airflow sensor and the air temperature sensor, which I'm pretty sure those don't cause my problem, and they're good condition and clean. And I'm talking like all the sensors, like all of them. Crankshaft, camshaft, oxygen, all of them. Temperature, all of them. HID low beams. I got some high output high beams, but I didn't want HID high beams because when you turn them on, they take a second to warm up, and they're also a little less reliable, so I wanted to make sure that I always had lights, and that if I have to flick my high beams real quick, that they'll go on right away. Or if I need high beams, they'll be ready right away, and I won't have to wait the couple minutes for them to warm up. Or it's not a couple minutes, it's like a couple seconds, but whatever. Zombie lights. I put zombie lights in it. You know what? I can't explain this, and I can't really just leave it there either. So I'm gonna show you real quick. So I've got these guys mounted up on my, or the switch mounted up on my dash. Check this out. Oh, focus. There we go. Zombie lights. And what they do is there's little lights in the grill. Check this out. Wait, I'll zoom out a little bit. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it because all those Christmas lights, but watch. Oh, come on. Focus. Bwomp. They shoot out wide. They don't go straight out very much, but they go out and wide. See that? That's because the very front area right there, the regular headlights don't light up, and they don't light up to the side either. So this helps a lot when I'm in town, and they don't shine in passing cars' eyes either. So it's really a nice thing to have. So zombie lights for the win. Woo! And this spot right here is for reverse lights. I have a switch for that too, but I haven't wired it up or the lights, but I do have the light and the switch, so I'm going to do that soon. Oh, and this switch right below it is for the stereo, which I also upgraded. I got this, it's like a Kenwood deck. It's not a very expensive one. I didn't want an expensive one, but it does have a USB drive, which I got a little tiny USB thumb drive thing, which my camera will not focus on. There it goes. And it's got like a ton of music on it. And I can also play auxiliary. I can plug this thing into my phone and listen to my phone through the stereo system. And I got door speakers, the tweeters and the mid-range. And they're cheap. They're not very expensive either, but they sound a lot better than stock, which was blown out paper speakers. So let's see what else. Oh, and this switch is wired straight to the battery so that I can listen to the stereo anytime. The key does not have to be in the ignition or on. So that's definitely quite the upgrade. And let's see what else. I upgraded, or I put in a hidden kill switch, which I'm not going to tell you much about. because you're on the internet. I'm sorry. It's not you. It's other people I'm worried about. I promise. But there is a hidden kill switch, so nobody's stealing this van unless they tow it. Which I don't think that's going to happen either. Woo, mic around the foot. Oh, what are we on? What are we stuck on? So, let's see. What else we got here? Where are zombie lights? That's where I left off. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There. Oh, so I went through and I cleaned all the grounds. I sanded them and cleaned them off with brake cleaner and cleaned them up. And all the main grounds from the negative battery terminal to the body, to the engine block, to the frame are all 0 gauge wire. And the positive cables from the fuse panel to the battery to the alternator are also 0 gauge wires. And there's another, where else did I do 0? Actually, I think that's it. So that's called the big 3, but it's actually like the big 4, and I added a couple other little wires in there just so that the power coming from the alternator to the battery and all the grounds are all like awesome. But I also cleaned every single ground on this thing, which I don't know if that helped or not, but it's better than having crappy grounds. So I removed the fuse panel and I soaked it in carb cleaner, and I used a paper clip and a really thin fine file and cleaned out all the little connections in there so that all the fuses would have a really good connection, and replaced all the fuses with brand new ones of higher quality. I don't know how much that helped anything, but it was probably a good thing to do after so many miles. I changed all the fluids except for the transmission, well, the oil in the rear end, and the coolant a couple times. I keep flushing it, and it keeps coming up rusty, so there's obviously a ton of corrosion in there. Another reason to get a new engine, and probably a new radiator eventually too, because it's probably pretty rotted out. New battery. That was an expensive one, but definitely something that needed to happen. And all the interior lights are now LEDs, which saves a ton of energy. They use like, I don't know, I'm pulling this out of my butt right now, but like half a watt instead of like 5 watts or something for a halogen bulb. They also look better. I like the way they look. I modified the butterfly on the throttle body. Has this little like plate thing that comes out of it on these vans. Actually, I think all 4.3 liters. And it restricts it, and when you cut that off, then you get a little more low-end power. So I did that, and it did help. I noticed the difference. It's probably not any real horsepower or anything, but it's more responsive to touch, and it actually makes it more likely to burn out when it's wet out. Especially, man, when I had this thing empty, when I was rebuilding it, it was burning out like crazy all the time. It was pretty cool. I replaced the heater core, and that was a pretty easy job. The idler arms on both ends, it had quite a bit of slop in the steering. It still has a little bit. I'll get to that in a second. I also just replaced the belt and pulley, and that's all that I can think of. I've been trying to come up with everything for the last couple hours, but that's pretty much it. That's a lot of stuff. You know, I replaced a lot of stuff on this thing. So what needs to be replaced? The engine, eventually. It's still running now. It's running better than it did when I got it. But metal shavings, like excess metal shavings in the oil, and the random misfire code. I don't know what the deal is. I'm going to get since I've replaced the the crankshaft position sensor and the camshaft sensor, you're supposed to get a crankshaft relearn procedure done on the ECU that you can only do with a fancy computer. So I'm going to have that done and see if that helps eventually. And then the other things that need to be done are all the front end bushings and tie rods. It's just, they're all worn out and a little loose, and it needs to be done. And the ABS computer, there's a common problem where the solder points on them suck in at least one place. And what happens is when I go over a bump, my ABS and brake light come on, and that's a really common problem with these vans. It costs like I think $300 to $500 to replace the thing, but luckily you can pull it off and just fix those solder joints. It'll probably take 20 minutes to do, and I should probably just do that soon. But I've been dealing with it, so whatever. Another thing I want to do to it is install my alarm system. One, because it's got keyless entry, and that's nice. but also just to have the alarm on it, especially for when I'm hiking and stuff, when I'm parked out in the middle of nowhere. If I can hear someone breaking into it, then I can run up real quick and smack them in the ass and tell them I'm their new daddy and hope they run instead of kicking my ass or stabbing me or something, you know. But I don't know. I always figured, like, being a smaller guy, like, I kind of figured out early on that nobody messes with crazy. Nobody messes with gay either. Like, if you get super gay and, like, creepy with, not saying that, like, gay is creepy, like, they're obviously separate things, but if you're creepy and gay, like, it freaks people out. So unless they're creepy and gay too, then you better be quick on your feet. Woo! And the very last thing, which actually is probably the first thing I should do, is flush the transmission and get a fluid change on it and filter. So that's really it. That's all I've done. I've done a lot to this fan, and it's pretty much where I want it, except for the engine, you know. The front end, just tightening that up so that I lose. It's got a little bit of wander on it if I don't pay attention, but that's all right because it keeps me focused on the road. So I kind of like that it wanders a little bit because my ADD, I tend to zone out and what was I saying? Oh yeah, my ADD. Yeah, point proven, right? So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It rained all day, so I wasn't able to install the what do you call that? What do you call this? Battery isolator today. But tomorrow, I guess it's not supposed to rain, so I'm going to get that installed tomorrow, and I'll have that vid up, and then the day after that, I will probably be leaving, and I'll make another video telling you guys where I'm going and why then. So, love yourself.